Hi, this is Kathy Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this month's Project of the Week. Now, we discussed last week that we were going to look at embossing this week, and I want to show you two very different types of embossing. The first type of embossing we think of is when we are using, let's say we're working on a towel, and we are going to use the negative space, the fluff of the towel, the negative space in the design to actually create our design element. That's what we'll look at first. Then we'll look at the Floriani embossing tool, which will emboss one fill into another to give us a embossed look. So they're very different types, but they're both considered embossing. So let's go ahead and get started. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to come up here and look at my favorite tool, and that would be my artwork tool. We all know how much I like our artwork tool up here at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I have a rectangle stuck to my cursor. I'm going to hold down my left mouse key and drag. Now with my rectangle here, I'm going to come over into my properties box, and I'm going to click on the Transform tab. Now I am going to make this square. I'm going to make sure Maintain Aspect Ratio has been deselected. I want to make sure I'm in inches, and I am going to set the width at 5.5, and I am going to set the height at 5.5, and I will apply that to my artwork square. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fit this to screen. I'm going to select Fill in my artwork and just apply. I just want you to get the visual. So I have a solid square piece of artwork. Now I am going to right mouse click on this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to right mouse click, and I am going to paste. Now notice in my sequence view over on the right hand side, we have two pieces of artwork. I am going to select one. Whoops. I'm going to select just one of them, and I am going to change the color to a lighter color just by left mouse clicking on a different color on my color bar. Now you notice I have a dark artwork square and a light one. With this light artwork square right here, what I'm going to do is, with it selected, I'm going to come over to my categories down here, and I am going to left mouse click on a run stitch. So now you'll notice I have an artwork square with a run stitch border running around it. So that's where we are right now. That's step one. Now I'm going to come back up here, grab my square. I'm going to draw another square. Let's go ahead and fill it. Click on our fill and apply. Now we have our second artwork square. Let's transform it. Now we made the first one 5.5 square. We're going to make this one 4.5 square. I'm going to apply that. Make sure this is 4.5. I'm going to right mouse click on it, copy. Let's right mouse click and paste. So now I have two 4.5 artwork squares. I'm going to go ahead and grab this top square, and I am going to come over to my categories and make that a run stitch. Whoops, I made them both. Undo is our best friend. There we go. Now I have an artwork square. Just come on down. Here's my two artwork squares that I've created. Let's go ahead and change the color of this one. That makes it a little easier to see. Now with this square changed, we've got the two artwork squares, which are 4.5-inch squares. With this one selected, let's go ahead and touch our run stitch. So again, you'll look here, and we'll have a artwork square with a border around it. So you can see we've got two artwork squares and two borders. Now let's come up to the top and select all items in here. That's going to select everything on our page. Now with that, I'm going to come to my alignment tool icon right here, because I want all this squared up. So I'm going to drop this down and I'm going to say align horizontal centers. Now I'm going to tell it to align vertical centers. So now I've got the two artwork squares centered with their borders. Now we're going to do a little magic. I'm going to select my artwork square by clicking on it. Excuse me. Sometimes I get my too many fingers on this keyboard. I'm going to left mouse click and select my first artwork square. Come on down, hold your control key and select your second artwork square. So now I have selected both artwork squares. You can see they're both selected in our sequence view. And with that, I'm going to come right up here to my combine icon on my upper toolbar. Now when I click this, it's going to combine the two artwork squares. So now what's left? We have an artwork 1-inch border, and it is now got a run stitch border on the outside and on the inside. So this is where we are. Now what I'm going to do with this artwork square that's left, the artwork that's left, I'm going to convert it into stitches. So let's select it. Only this time I'm going to come down and I want to fill. And I want a motif fill. So I'm going to left mouse click on motif fill. Now I can fine tune that motif fill. Let's drop down our arrow and I'm going to select stitch 1074. So I'm coming down and I'm going to select stitch 1074 if I can find it. I'm sorry, it's F74, Floriani 74. So we've got F074. I'm going to change the stitch length. I want this to be 6. And I'm going to apply that. Now what's going to happen to start with, if I put this directly on a towel right now, it would mat down by stitching this decorative stitch. It would stitch down that portion of the towel, and in the center my fluff would stick up. So my actual design element that would be very noticeable is the puff up, because I would have the pile stitched down around it. So now we're going to come back and we're going to work a little more here. If you don't want to see all of these open, we've kind of finished this portion of the design element. Let's right mouse click in here and tell it to collapse all. So now we can just see without seeing all the individual stitches underneath or sequences underneath our colors. We're going to come back to our artwork square. Let's draw our next square. I'm going to fill it, apply, and we have an artwork square there. Now this one I'm going to transform, and I'm going to make this one 3.5. I've gone down an inch with each one of these squares. So this is now a 3.5-inch square. I'm going to apply. Again, right mouse click copy, right mouse click paste. I'm going to change the color of that paste just so we can see it. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn that second artwork square into a run stitch. So again, we've got an artwork square with a border around it. Now I'm going to take this whole design. Let's go ahead and grab it all items. Let's make sure we're centered, horizontal and vertical. Once we're completely centered, I want you to grab your little rotate icon right here. See in the upper right hand corner you've got a little circle. When I put my cursor over it, it turns into a circle with 2 arrows. I want you to hold down your left mouse key and I want you to rotate this 45 degrees. We're going to go ahead and turn this on point. So there we go. We've got this on point. Now with this on point, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Import True Type Font Artwork. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to type in G plus K, George plus Kathy. And I have gone through and I picked my DFG Gothic font. You can come in here to select. Pick a nice block font that you like. It doesn't matter. It's from your computer. You can pick out of any of your fonts. With that in there, I'm going to say OK, OK, and I'm going to make sure it's a light color so I can see it. So I'm going to click on my keyboard here. Now this is personal preference, how this looks for you. I'm going to move this over. I think I'm going to resize it some. I might go back in and take out the spacing between the G and the plus and the K. I mean, again, just whatever looks good to you. I'm going to set it where I like it. Now we're going to right mouse click, copy. We're going to right mouse click and we are going to paste. And again, I'm going to change the color of that paste and I'm going to put a border around it. So now I've got my letters and my square that are all artwork. So let's come up and see. So now I know all of these are artwork, my G, plus, and K, so I've selected that category. Let's go ahead and go up and hold down our Control key. Grab your artwork square. Now with that selected, let's go ahead and hit that combine again. And now I have cut that out of this artwork square. Now we still have this square left that we want to do something with. It's still artwork. We just cut the G plus K out of it. Now with this, again, I want to mat this down around it so that the fluff comes up on the G plus K. So again, I'm going to come down to my motif, fill, left mouse click on that fill. Let's go and get our F74 again. Let's go ahead and change it to 6. I don't want a heavy towel. I just want to mat the fluff down. Now I've got G plus K in here and it still looks a little plain. So let's look at what we can do here. Let's start playing with it and working with it. Well, the first thing I might want to do is grab the outline and start changing my outlines from run stitches to a steal stitch. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's grab this run. Let's change this to a steal stitch as well. Let's go ahead and keep on here. Let's look on down. Let's get this run. Let's change it to a steal stitch. Now how easy is this to do and play with? Now let's come down and look at our G plus K. Let's grab those. Now I might want a steal stitch around these as well. Depends. Let's see what we can do to adjust it. See if it's too bulky. Let's get our steal. Now it warns me that's a little bit wide, but that's okay because remember, on a satin stitch, it can be as narrow as 1.5 millimeters. So let's go into the width here and let's make this 1.5. And let's say OK. Let's apply this. Oh, I like that look. So now I have that nice and bordered. So now I could take all of this and make it one color. Select all of our items and let's make them one single color. And I might make it the same color, use the same color of thread to match my towel. So now when I stitch this design out, what is going to happen is it's going to mat down the towel. I'm going to have fluff come up through here and in my G plus K. So my actual design area will be created because of the negative space left in this design. Now I would look through here, I would make sure I liked the order of how everything was going to stitch out. I would make sure my fills were going to stitch out first. So this fill, I would go ahead and move it. In the scheme of things, we would drag and drop it. We'd come on up and say, you know what, you need to move up. You need to stitch up here. Fills need to stitch first. So we would go ahead and move these up and down until we got them, whoops, excuse me. If you ever pull that off, double mouse click, it'll lock back into place. So go ahead and move your fills and stuff around so they're where you want them, so they look good. Now once you've got everything in order, save it in your design format and go ahead and stitch it out on your towel. Now I've used the square. Remember, you could use any artwork shape. You've got all these custom shapes. You can have a lot of fun with this. And this is how you would do a negative space embossed towel. Now let's look at one other aspect of embossing, the embossing tool. Now I'm going to come up to my shapes and I'm going to grab the cloud. Again, it's a piece of artwork. So with this piece of artwork, I might make it just a little bigger, just to play with it here. Okay, now that I have the artwork, I'm going to come down to my categories, and I'm just going to create a standard fill in here. So I have filled this with just stitches. Now I could copy and paste, put a border, whatever, but we're just going to look at this right now. Now with this here, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to 3D it. And remember, this is a computer generated graphic. It's not exactly how it'll look stitched out. Now with this on here, I want to emboss some shapes into the clouds. So let's come up and get and you could emboss a shape, you could emboss another design, you could emboss a letter. I'm just going to go ahead and go to the shapes here, the symbols, and drop this down and look through and see what I've got in here. We've got all kinds of fun things. Oh, look, here's an umbrella. Let's grab the umbrella. I'm going to change it to a lighter color just so you can see. Now I'm going to drag, and as I drag and rotate, I can make this umbrella whatever size and shape I want. And I could put some umbrellas in here for a rainy day. So I could move them around if I wanted to place them, move their placement, whatever we want to do here. Now once we've done this, I'm going to select my umbrellas. I'm going to select them right here in my color chart, my sequence view. I've selected them. Now with them selected, get them here selected. Well, come on, baby. Oh, I've got it locked. Let me just show you something that happens to all of us. Do you see I have a little lock here? When I was clicking on this, somehow I touched my lock, so it locked it. And it says, so Kathy, you can't select those or do anything with them because you've asked me to lock this. Let's click on that lock so we can unlock those options. Now you can see they're selected. So I have selected my 3 umbrellas. Now I'm going to come down to my categories, and do you see my yellow fan right here? This is my embossing tool. Now what this is going to do when I click it, it's just like an embossing machine. When you squeeze the paper, you squeeze that design or that embossing into the paper. Let's emboss. Now I've selected this, and what's going to happen now is it's going to emboss my umbrellas into my cloud. Now I picked a different color so you could see it real good, but now if you had this all the same color, it would just have that look as if you embossed a piece of paper. So this is the embossing tool. So there are two ways, there are two techniques for embossing. One is using negative space to have the visual of an emboss, and the other is to take one shape and emboss it into another. I hope you enjoyed this week's Project of the Week. I look forward to seeing you again next week.